his little teenage daughter. I look like a teenager, I realize. Like 19. I look 19. I have the habits of a 19-year-old, but I'm 30. 31? You're about to say 32. Well, it's because I'm going to be 32. I feel closer to 32 than to 31, you know? Jesus, I have to pee again. Ah. Yeah, it was very upsetting. Like, my mom didn't even tell me that he had a heart attack because she knew exactly how I was going to overreact, you know? Because she knows about my disorder. She's really the only one in the family that acknowledges it. And I think it's just because of the fact that, like, she sees that I've been invalidated so many times by so many people that she just doesn't want to add to that. So, and she believes it. You know, she looked it up. She's like, yeah, that fits. It really does fit. She has an emotional basket case who, you know, cannot be reckoned with. I'm a mess, you know? Total mess. But, like, my parents are both total neat freaks because they're from, like, a very, traditional generation, you know? Call it the Mad Men generation. I did my part. I watched that show. If only my parents could watch a show about degenerate lowlives. Then they would have some understanding of where we're coming from over here. That should just be the name of the show, Degenerate Lowlives. Any Breaking Bad fans? Like, real Breaking Bad fans? Like, you hate Walter White. That means that you're an actual Breaking Bad fan, okay? If you like Walter White, don't even fucking talk to me. Talk to the fucking hand. I know. Talk to the fist! You shouldn't be allowed to watch the show. You shouldn't. You always go into, like, a Breaking Bad rant. Especially when we're in the bathroom. I don't know why. Does this remind you of Breaking Bad? Dude, I hated Walter White so much that if I ever ran into Bryan Cranston on the street, I'd probably punch him in the face on principle, you know? That's how well he played that role. He's an amazing actor. But anyway, Netflix needs to administer a little questionnaire. Anytime that one of its users watches the first season of Breaking Bad, there should be a little questionnaire that pops up. And it'll ask you, based on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, what is your opinion of the lead character, Mr. Walter White? And if your answer is any higher than a 3, you should not be allowed to continue the remainder of the show because you don't understand it. Now, I'm sure many of you would completely disagree with my totally fascist regime, I realize, but it's for the greater good, you guys. Blockheads should not be allowed to absorb art because they're not going to get it, you know? Just think of it this way. Like, their head is just a block of nothingness, you know? They're just basically a cardboard box with legs walking around trying to interact, and this is why most people do this, because they don't know how to be humans. So, what can I with my phone? Trying to have conversations. It's a joke. But people like that should not be allowed to watch Breaking Bad. People like that should not be allowed to stand next to me at a fucking St. Vincent concert. People like that should not be allowed to go anywhere. Anyway, so if you don't like Breaking Bad, you should not be allowed to leave the house. No, man, if you don't appreciate it, and people will think that that's, like, fucked up, you know? Like, I got into, like, an argument with a friend of mine, and she was like, why does it matter that somebody doesn't appreciate things the way that you do? And I'm like, it's not because I I hate hipsters with a passion, man. People always equate it with like being a hipster. You know, they're like, oh, you're just a hipster. You're just a hipster. You just talking hipster talk. You know, I'm like, no, dude. Like a hipster would like go on and on about, oh, well, this album was made in 1978, and I know this random shit about it, which means that I'm a much bigger fan than you'll ever be. You know, it's like so stupid. Like, I'm not about that. Like, oh, I know these facts about it, so I'm a lot cooler than you. It's about appreciation, you know? I listen to music to get me through, to prevent me from committing suicide, like, and I don't think that other people are listening to it for the same reason. They don't care, they don't absorb it. Like, here's the difference, you guys. People like me, people that have quiet borderline personality, are naturally going to absorb everything like a fucking sponge, okay? That's why we have such high empathy levels. And I don't know, I think that's why like classic borderlines can't absorb shit, because they're not that way. They don't have any empathy at all. So we have all the empathy that the classic version of us denies. Basically, we overcompensate for them. Fuck you! Anyway. What were you gonna say? You're still gonna talk about Breaking Bad? Oh, it is just art. Art in general. You know? Like, art means a lot to me. You know, it's like, it's helped me so much over the years. Like, I've mentioned this before, if it weren't for Fiona Apple, I would not be alive right now. Because that bitch can eloquently put to words emotions that I was never able to when I was younger, you know. And so like, it's crazy. Like, I owe my life to this lady who like has no idea who the fuck I am. I would give anything to let these people know how much their music has saved my life. Anyway, Fiona Apple's good. You know, a lot of times people give me shit about my depressing ass taste in music, and I'm like, yeah, well, at least I'm not listening to Nickelback, you know? I'd much rather be depressed over here. I have a way better taste than you. You know, it's just, and then there are people that, you know, they like the same stuff that I do, but they don't like it for the same reason that I do, so that's why I get really, like, defensive about it, because I'm like, I don't think that you're listening to Joy Division for the same reason that I'm listening to Joy Division. You know, like, you just heard that one song, and you're like, oh, this is kind of catchy, I like the bass line. But it's like, I listen to it because I relate to it, you know? And I don't think that a lot of people pay any fucking attention to lyrics. They don't pay any fucking attention to, like, what they need to pay fucking attention to! And you wonder why Ian Curtis hung himself. I mean, there were, like, friends of his, like, dude, I watched that fucking movie. 24-Hour Party People. Yeah! Like, that producer was just, like, in the dark. Like, what? He killed himself? No fucking way! Motherfucker that, like, constantly wrote songs about depression and isolation, isolation. You know? Like, no, he's not gonna fucking kill himself. I think it's kind of obvious. That's why, you know, whenever I do it, I hope nobody's mad. Because, like, I've already told them. I'm gonna have all these videos about suicide, all these jokes about suicide, so you motherfuckers better not be fucking pissed off about it and act like I didn't try to tell you. You know, 20 years in advance that this is gonna go down. Shoot myself out of a fucking cannon. See, I gotta figure out, like, the most, like, elaborate way to kill myself. That's my goal, you guys. Most elaborate suicide ever. You know what I mean? I think that, what's-his-face has already taken the cake. And eaten it. That motherfucker. I don't like Hunter S. Thompson very much. Because Hunter S. Thompson was, like, a sociopath. And here's the thing. I can't, like, look at anybody the same way if, like, I find out that they, like, are mean to animals. Like, I knew this guy, he said that he used to torture animals, and, like, I couldn't ever, like, look at him the same way after that. Because I just can't imagine, like, ever being able to do that. And, just because animals are, like, so sweet, you know? They're so, like, innocent and perfect, and they don't have malignant aggression. I've mentioned this before. Erich Fromm, the German psychologist, he talked about how human beings are the only species that torture. Animals don't do that. Animals can be very violent and aggressive, but it's only because they're protective. I mean, the animal kingdom, like, it seems like it's pretty cruel sometimes, but it's just the way that it is, you know? I feel like human beings, like, go out of their way to be fucking cruel, you know? You don't see a bunch of squirrels on Facebook talking shit about each other, you know? You don't see that shit. I feel like people go out of their way to be cruel on the internet because they don't know, like, how to be the badass that they want to be in, like, the real time. So they're like, I'm gonna talk a bunch of shit on Facebook and I'm gonna take this motherfucker down. Oh yeah, social media, you better not fuck with me, you know? Like, oh my god, like, there's this bitch that I do comedy with who's, like, talked all kinds of shit about me on the internet, and, like, I mean, from what I hear, like, I don't know because I don't have a Facebook account. But, like, she might have taken that stuff down, I don't know. Because, like, I have another borderline friend who, you know, she's all about the drama, so she's like, oh, let me check for you, let me check and see what she's saying about you. So she looked it up and she's like, okay, I guess maybe she's not mad anymore. That's not true though, because, like, she walked out of my fucking comedy set. Took, like, one of her friends with her, and I know that they were, like, trying to be real showy about it because they're both black, right? They're both black who act white. And I'm like, oh wow, I'm really upset that you guys are my friends, you know? I think that you should bring every black person you know to, like, the next comedy set that you do. And you should have people in the audience that are filming it and just, like, zoom in on, like, all the black people and just do a video on that. That would be so funny. And that would just, like, fucking show her off, you know? Like, as a fucking hater. Yeah, fuck that bitch. See, I don't really like roasting people. I think that it's lame. It's too easy to roast people. It's, like, free material, you know? Like, why would I want to, like, just do jokes on, like, other people? I mean, like, I do jokes on society. I do jokes on, like, the way that I think that people think about stuff. But, like, I would never, like, go out of my way to, like, assassinate somebody that I do comedy with, you know? The whole reason that this big black bitch, and she refers to herself that way, she'd probably get very angry if she heard me say that about her, even though she refers to herself that way. But, like, she got really upset because I said a joke that she didn't like, and she told me I had no right to do that joke, and I was like, yeah, I do. No, I didn't say that, but yeah, I do! If I was on Facebook, that's what that would be my reply. But it's, like, ridiculous, you know? It's like, I'm a fucking, like, hippie tree hugger. Like, why would I fucking just say some fucked up shit to somebody, like, who's sitting in the front row? Like, I understand, like, why she thought that I wrote the joke about her, but, like, if I tell her, no, I did not, it's like her material isn't even good enough that it, like, registers with me, so that I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do this joke about how black people act white can't be trusted. I just really didn't even think, like, oh man, she's gonna get super upset. You know? I didn't think that way because I was like, this is comedy, and, you know, that bitch has made fun of me. Everybody makes fun of me for being crazy, as if I don't draw enough attention to that shit. If I can take it, I don't see how anybody else can't take it, because I'm the most sensitive person in the room. Also, I'm the most misunderstood person in the room. So, like, I've had to get used to that. Like, people not, like, understanding where I'm coming from, or, like, being afraid of that, or being intimidated by that. So, like, it just makes me mad when, like, other people, like, want to, like, milk it for the fucking attention they get because they can play the victim, you know? I just hate that shit. Because if I don't do that, then, like, I don't know. Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind that, like, other people don't have this camera crew of self-awareness that you possess. Yeah, and it's funny because the camera crew always misses something, too. It's like, it was just, like, it was too busy, like, zooming in on all, like, the fucking racist white people that were, like, jumping when I said the word jigaboo. Like, oh my god. She's out of her fucking mind. You know, it's funny. The black dude that went on right after me thought it was, like, the funniest thing he'd ever seen in his life. Here you go, Brad Sativa. This is for you. Man, Amy. She came up to me before the show. She said she was gonna do some racist shit. I had no idea. Man, watching all them white folk jump when you said jigaboo, that was the funniest shit I ever seen in my life. I do a pretty good impression of black people. I'm not gonna do an impression of the bitch that I'm referring to, though, because it's too mean. Because I can't really do it and not be mean about it, so I'm just gonna refrain. But, she's not a very good person. And she doesn't care that she's not a very good person. Like, she like, takes pride in being petty and lazy and lame, and, like, I just can't vibe with people like that, you know? I never liked her. That's not why I did the joke. I wasn't, like, trying to take her down or anything like that. I totally get why she interpreted it that way, especially considering the fact that she's been, like, jokingly jabbing at me from the beginning. A lot of women do. They feel threatened by me, so they just, like, make fun of how ugly I am, or, like, how crazy I am, or how I feel like I can just talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about, you know, and that's not right. Like, just because, like, you aren't, like, utilizing your creative freedom, and you're just, like, using your precious 4 or 5 minutes to talk shit about other people in the comedy scene, like, see, I don't have to do that. Like, I have so much material. Like, that black people act white joke really wasn't about this chick. It was about this other chick that I don't like. And I'm pretty sure that this other chick that I don't like would probably still laugh at the joke, because she's not the level that this chick is. And by level, I mean classic borderline. You can't trust those bitches. So I was totally right about her. And not just because she's black and ex-white, but because she's a classic borderline and she's fucking evil and psychotic, and, like, they just want attention all the time. That's all they do. Attention, attention, attention. I'm a victim, victim, victim. You know? Maybe if you pay attention to me, my daddy issues will be resolved. Just kidding. Like, it's stupid, you know? But you could totally tell when you're doing that, you know, like when you want attention, or you're just like, man, I'm playing the victim again, you know? Yeah, but that's the awareness that I have being quite borderline. Like, classics don't have that. I feel sorry for them in a way, because I'm like, you know, they've been through some shit too, you know, they were probably molested, or, you know, their mom walked out, or their dad walked out, or some shit, you know? I try to, like, keep that in mind, but you gotta keep them at a distance, though, you know? It's my advice to anybody that has to deal with a classic borderline. If you're around somebody and you constantly have to walk on eggshells around them, they're not your fucking friend. Like, if you can't be yourself completely, and you're afraid that, oh no, if I say this, they'll get offended, They ain't your fucking friend. Stay the fuck away from them. Just walk away.